Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today. First Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Hopefully you know by now, this is where we answer your questions each and every weekend, 6 on Saturday, 6 on Sunday. Love being able to sit down at my desk, which is where I am right now, open up the big document full of all of the thousands of questions from our community and be able to try to tackle one at a time and simply give you my recommendations, my suggestions on where you may want to start. I always have to just let you know that this is not medical advice, it's not medical treatment, it is not a medical-based cure. We know that only the highest power of conventional medicine can give you any of that. So what I do is I try to give you the underlying root cause that you may want to look for and hopefully be able to help you like we have so many people in the past. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right. Today, if you want to follow along, I'm actually looking at myself right now. It is episode 2332. So if you go to stevencabral.com/2332, you can follow along with the questions. We would, of course, always invite you over to the website. And if you haven't reviewed the show, I would love you to review the show while listening to the questions. You can review it on iTunes, Google, it's on Amazon Audible now, or whatever Amazon's MP3 player is, and you can check it out there. All right, let's get started. First question is from Ales, Ales. Hello, Dr. Cabral. I have a lot of trust in your discretion, and thus I have 2 questions, and I hope you can answer. Lately, I've been reading about Deuterium Depleted water and its benefits on our mitochondria. Is there any valid evidence on Deuterium Depleted water? Speaking about mitochondria, what's your take on eating only seasonal food locally, which logically is the way to go, and all cultures in the past have done this way? My question is whether eating non-seasonal food affects mitochondria due to the energy electrons that is stored within all plant foods. Since all organisms react to circadian rhythms and seasonal changes, isn't it confusing and metabolically deranging for our bodies to consume, let's say, fruits in the mid of winter? If food is information for our mitochondria, then we should really avoid non-seasonal altogether. However, please help me understand where the body would prefer, which is logical to me, to get nutrients and energy from all foods that it expects during cold months. Maybe some root crops, but not fruits, while expecting and processing much differently fruits during summer months. Thank you. All right, great questions. Great questions. All right, first is this. This one's pretty straightforward. Deuterium depleted water, a form of hydrogen-based water. I'm not going to get too deep into that. I have chatted about hydrogen-based water before. Deuterium, just a specific type of isotope, and also referred to as sometimes light water, sometimes referred to as DDW water, if people see it. And there are a number of alleged benefits. I don't know. I'm still waiting for continued good science on this. I know there was a pretty good published study a few years back. I think it was 2019. I don't remember exactly where it was published out of, but you can look it up. It was on anti-cancer. So basically, deuterium depleted water, and actually it's stopping or shrinking or slowing the proliferation of certain tumors, cancerous tumors. So it's at least something to worth looking into. Is it my first place? No, absolutely not, because it's not for me like deep foundational first, but certainly the water that we drink is of the utmost importance. I just don't always love to be messing with water. I prefer to drink natural spring water. However, I'm not against it. I just want to see more good science. And when I go on a lot of these companies' websites for their light waters, and I say, okay, well, like, let me see the science. Just like click on it. Let me see it. I just don't see it there. Like I just wrote a 21-page paper for Equilife on, I think it was like our like top 8 most popular products. And I stopped at about a dozen studies per product. Like I could keep going on and on. So there's tons of research. Like, by the way, they're not just our products. Like it's the ingredients that I'm talking about, right? So let me see some good research on deuterium depleted water in general. And then the companies that are doing it properly can use that as well. So what I'm saying is it should be very easy to find that research. I shouldn't have to like go on a wild goose chase, as they say. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds good to go with it. All right. The other one is more of a in-depth question. Here's the thing. I think in a perfect world, we humans, well, not in a perfect world, like we know for sure we were meant to live in warmer climates because we wouldn't survive without a house, without shelter, without all of these things in cold climates. Humans are just not built for that. They're just not. I mean, think about like, just go outside, you give yourself maybe a tent, but no, like heavy clothes. And okay, maybe you again could find some different, you hunt and kill an animal and to use its hide as your clothing and you create some type of shoes out of it. Okay. But like, I'm just thinking about me in Maine during the winter. You're not surviving the winter. Like you're just not. You are not surviving that winter. Let's say you're outside, you have a tent, you're going to freeze to death, or you are going to not freeze to death, but have to look for food. Because like, let's say you can find a shelter and you can stay warm with fire and all that. Okay, so you got it. There's nothing living. Like there's literally nothing living in Maine. And for all the people out there, again, like I know hunters. It is extremely difficult to be successful on the majority of your hunts, even with a gun or a compound bow. And you're telling me that humans were highly successful on hunts, like they could just kill anything anytime they wanted and be able to find it like in the snow. So I'm not buying into this whole philosophy overall because it's so non-human. Like if we really want to be human, we will wear very little clothes. We will live in the tropics, in the warm weather where we could survive, and we would rely on a hunter-gatherer based lifestyle, and we would eat what's seasonally and locally. But you asked, you go on to say like only eat like root vegetables and no fruit during the winter. But here's the thing. Humans are not healthy if they're not getting those nutrients in. So if you live in the warm weather, fruit's always growing in the warm weather. Like there are just seasons for those different types of fruit. Yeah, I mean, so I agree with you though. Like that's the thing is like, I still agree with you that that's the healthiest way to do it. The healthiest way to do it is seasonal and local. It's just not always within our wheelhouse. So I still believe though, as long as you're eating that food with those electrons in that plant-based food, you get a lot of it. I don't necessarily think it deranges our mitochondria. I see very healthy people in our practice. I consider myself to be healthy. So you just do the best that you can. Now, again, like if you can do everything, well, then you'll go live in Costa Rica and you'll be able to, get fresh local foods. And so you can always do that as well. So, but hopefully you're able to read between the lines there. All right, because I can't give everybody like not just you. I can't give you a specific thing to do because, of course, I don't know where people are living and all those things, and I just want them to eat 7 to 9 servings of brightly colored fruits and vegetables because we do know that that is the only anti-cancer and health benefit or diet that we know. Doesn't mean you can't eat meat. Doesn't mean you can't eat fish. Doesn't mean you can't eat fat. You can, but again, those things don't contain even the level of electrons that you're just talking about right there, or the phytonutrients. All right, Simon's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm having open surgery for an inguinal hernia. I know you've recommended a couple times before to use the daily foundational protocol minus the omega-3, right, because that's the blood thinning. Leading up to surgery and after it, the healthy gut support and clean gut probiotic to improve and reduce the impact of antibiotics. If I want to go the extra mile to promote wound healing, recover from a general anesthetic, and reduce the impact of antibiotics, is there anything else you would recommend? Would collagen assist with wound healing? How long should I wait before taking anti-inflammatory foods and supplements, knowing that many thin the blood? Okay, yeah, really great questions. Well, you're not going to use any blood thinning supplements or foods like at all. So you're not going to use like cayenne pepper and the omega-3s that you spoke about. You'll be careful with overdoing vitamin K. Yeah, all those things, but your doctor will give you those recommendations. So you're right on. I would definitely do the daily foundational protocol. I would do the level 2 or 3. And I would do for sure the healthy gut support because that contains the glutamine, the zinc, and all the other things to not only just help the gut, but rebuild your body. I would use the immunity protocol if you wanted to go the extra mile. That's extra vitamin C. So that helps with wound healing. It has extra zinc. That helps. And it has vitamin D. So I would definitely do that. I mean, I do that every day. I think most humans should. And then the only other thing would be that advanced collagen support. And so, yeah, advanced collagen support would be great. All of these things could be done for 6 to 12 weeks after surgery. You might need to wait a couple weeks. That's up to you and your doctor. And then an anti-inflammatory diet, as long as it's not a blood thinning diet, because they're not one and the same, could be started right away. And I think an anti-inflammatory diet for most humans is absolutely the way to go. That's that 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables, for sure. Those are the anti-inflammatory foods. So hopefully that's helpful. I mean, that's exactly what I would do. All right, Simon's up again. Simon says, hi again. Another quick question regarding inguinal hernia surgery. My surgeon is adamant that a mesh is the best surgical approach. However, I have serious concerns with the plastic mesh being left inside my body to slowly dissolve. Assuming I go ahead with the mesh, what would you suggest as a long-term approach to reducing the total toxic load my body is under from the mesh? Assuming it takes a couple of years to dissolve, thanks. Okay. Yeah, I mean, well, the surgical mesh does seem to have the best prognosis that it's not going to return anytime soon because they're literally creating a barrier in the weak spot that allowed for that abdominal wall to essentially perforate to allow the intestine to move through. So I get it from obviously both sides. I want to do the best for people in terms of what's the best surgical approach, because if you can do it, you only want to do it once. And then there's also the toxicity approach. So that's not ideal either. So that's for you to ultimately decide with your doctor. They can certainly do internal surgical stitching and without putting the plastic mesh in. But I know that's obviously, I think they actually may even be fiberglass, or they used to use some type of fiberglass-based material to check that out. So, I mean, what is the thing? Well, a couple weeks after surgery, you have to wait till you recover, but doing a 7-day functional medicine detox, of course, is a great thing. But, when this is a couple year-based approach to toxicity, my opinion, you're using the daily nutritional support every day, and you're using the daily fruit and vegetable blend every day. So you get the best of science, medical, functional medicine science, and you get the best of nature, 22 organic fruits and vegetables and superfoods for that nice anti-inflammatory based approach as well. So that's how I'd be looking at it. And then just, again, living a healthy lifestyle, sleep, sauna, detox, all of that matters. Your seasonal functional medicine detoxes, 100%. So hopefully that's helpful. Nicole is up. Nicole says, hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm so glad I found you and your wealth of knowledge. Thank you, Nicole. I have a question, and I also need some encouragement. I've been sick with chronic fatigue and major gut issues for 4 years when I first became pregnant. I recently met with one of your health coaches and discussed my results from my hair tissue analysis, oat, and food sensitivity test. We decided on a path that was right for me based off the results, which included a few supplements and doing the CBO protocol based off of probably SIBO and Candida. However, since that meeting, my naturopath and I have found that I'm likely also suffering from Crohn's. The super sad part is that my 3-year-old, so is my 3-year-old. My question is there anything in addition to the CBO and citricidal drops with my sensitive gut guide I and my 3-year-old should do? I do not have any food sensitivity besides dairy. I also need more encouragement that the Crohn's can be healed and reversed. Thank you, Dr. Cabral. Okay, so first and foremost, everything can be healed, 100%. I had Addison's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, type 2 diabetes, myalgic encephalomyelitis, insomnia, debilitating allergies, POTS, and so many other issues. Migraines, you name it. Just name it. It was not an ideal time. So yes, it can be reversed. I had SIBO. I had Candida overgrowth so bad that it grew into my stomach and up my esophagus, and that was confirmed on an endoscopy. I had H. pylori multiple times. It was not good. All of it can be healed. So, but your child, there's a children's CBO, and children don't use the citricidal drops. So you want to work with an integrative health practitioner with this. You want to work with either our Equal Life coaches or an integrative health practitioner for sure. These protocols work. And then you have to work on stress as well, because stress can lead to Crohn's, right? So we want to work on that. And then with the chronic fatigue, well, get your gut in order first, get the stress. I always talk about those too, and you're going to be so much better off. So that's the first place I start. But again, I think that you want one-on-one guidance, in my opinion, and I would absolutely continue to get that customized plan with an IHP2 or an Equal Life coach, all right? Nicole, I believe this is Nicole again. Nicole says, hi, Dr. Cabral. I have another question. My ANA recently went positive with no direct correlation to any disease, and I've developed progressively worse eye pain and dry eyes drops to fix it. I also get extremely bloated and painful abdominal area. As soon as I nap or go to bed, I know that my gut is a wreck. I eat so clean, everything organic, lots of veggies, follow the daily nutritional support, greens each morning in a smoothie. I do intermittent fasting. The only thing that I think of that needs major work is stress. Did we just mention that? And all kidding aside, but again, like I've done this myself personally, over 40,000 appointments, and my team's done this over 250,000 times. So, I've just seen this a million times. I guess not a million, but over 250,000 times. So you've been in the middle of move. It's been challenging. My question is, what am I missing? Food sensitivities are all negative besides dairy. I have low thyroid. I brought my antibody levels there from 600 to under 15, and I lowered my medication. So at least there's one win. LOL, any help would be appreciated. All right, well, you're on the right path, but you know it's wrong. And I just stated it before, there's a major stress issue. The major stress issue is absolutely, again, I'm not leading to any diagnosis or anything like that, but it's leading to Crohn's and it's leading to digestive issues. Your digestion seems very weak right now. And when you lay down, again, the food is just sitting there fermenting in your stomach. So we need to strengthen your digestion. For now, maybe some digestive bitters, maybe definitely digestive enzymes, anywhere between 1 to 3 at each meal to start to a meal. You might take some betaine, HCl, and pepsin mid-meal if there's no H. pylori. And you might also just do a little hot ginger tea with it, which is good for the gut and aids in digestion. So we need to work on the stress. We really do. And that's from all angles. That's not just with supplements and food. That's what maybe doing some therapy, maybe listen to binaural beats, going for a walk, exercising, breath work. You just have to work on continuing to calm the body. It's such a big overlooked factor because we think, well, everybody's stressed. No, stress is what breaks down the body. So absolutely look at that, Nicole. All right, we've got one more question, and it's from Mrs. Rosen. Mrs. Rosen asks, what can do about low thyroid? Antibodies against thyroid. All right. So this person, who I'm sure, just like all of us in this community, is amazing, but I know that this is a new listener, and so what I want to do is try to help for anybody interested in thyroid. So I have 2 ways to get started with thyroid. So the first way is this. This way is completely free. Go to stevencabral.com/podcasts. Scroll through the images at the top, either on desktop or on your mobile, and you'll find a podcast just on thyroid. There's about 50 shows. Listen to those 50 shows. It'll be well worth your time. It really will. I don't know how long it takes to listen to 50 shows, but not that long. Not that long at all. And you'll learn pretty much everything you need to about your thyroid. Now, if you want to shorten that learning curve, I have a 4-hour, what's called Health Results Accelerator at stevencabral.com/courses. I have one on thyroid, one on female hormones, one on digestion. So Nicole, maybe you want to take the one on digestion for Health Results Accelerator. Literally tells you what to do. And Ms. Rosen, maybe you want to do the one on thyroid. So that's what to do. And then when you've gotten all that free information, the course is not free, but it's a pretty low price. You could also run the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism tests, Mrs. Rosen, and that would also give you your thyroid levels and how it's also affected by stress from the adrenals, cortisol, and then the rest of the hormones as well. And then always the big 5. If you can run the big 5, that's absolutely the best place to get started. So hopefully this was helpful today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the reviews. If you left one while you were listening, I do appreciate that. If not, if you could do it, again, that would really help. It just continues to get the show out to more people. This is a organic show that we've really built up over the last 6 years, and it's really because of our amazing community. So thank you so much, and I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or unbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stevencabral.com/rainbarrel.